Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2022 as we continue our Journeyman Glory Hunter run with Barcelona. And this is our transfer special, so we're going to do a little bit of end-of-season review here to begin with, and then I got my work cut out for us, guys. So we talked about it in the last episode. A lot of old guys that I've got to at least have backups for, if not full-on replacements, and definitely our work cut out for us. Now, this season review will be kind of, take it as it is because we weren't here for most of it. So, but let's get into the episodes and see how the team did. All right, here we are. Barcelona end of season review for the 2034-35 season. Oh, we are cruising along with this challenge, guys. We've still got a lot of work ahead of us, though. Here are the new arrivals. We've got Ilmaz here coming in from Barcelona. No actual board reaction there, which is interesting, but he's definitely a guy for the future. We're really hoping this guy turns into somebody amazing. Baldwin we've seen before. Keep him around. I think he played well, and we're going to hopefully get a couple more years out of him. Verts, not bad. I guess he came up from the Barcelona B. I mean, he played well, to be fair. He still probably got a year or two in him as well. Cho here, I don't remember him. Did we play him? I don't think I guess he played a little bit. Yeah, he played in the attacking midfield. 6 appearances, 18 subs, 9 goals. So honestly, not a terrible player either against someone else that we might have a couple more years at least in him. And then Brunig. Brunig did not play that well, but he still has some development ahead of him. Hopefully he can do something here. Again, the board's not reacting to any of these because none of these were ours. In fact, none of these are ours. I'm not really going to care about those. Loans out. Hopefully some of these guys continue to develop. We'll see. But that's that. Really, there's nothing to see there. Again, we weren't there for most of it. C+, the board are pleased, apparently, that we got the European Champions Cup. So that's that. I mean, there's no way we would have lost that. Had we lost that, I would have fired myself. Yeah, I mean, great season. Just Madrid had a better season. That's how it came down. We did get knocked out here earlier than I would, the board would have liked, but I don't really care. I mean, other than the fact that the board doesn't care, or it doesn't like it. That's the only reason I care. Spanish Cup, we definitely got knocked out way earlier than we should have. We should have beat Madrid, but in fact, we probably could have won the Spanish Cup had we gotten past Madrid, the way things turned out, but it is what it is. And then the Super Cup, we actually did lose to Madrid here as well. Man, Madrid got our number. Real Madrid, that is. Actually, both Madrids have our number, apparently. So not the greatest season as far as what we were expected to have. But again, most of those expectations were for the manager before us and not for us specifically. Biggest win was our Real Madrid win here. We actually can beat Madrid, apparently. 6-2. That's the one. Fati got a quad trick, whatever, four goals. A brace of braces. Match to remember was a 3-0 win against Levante. And then we had a goal of the season in December. I'm not going to look at that goal because I wasn't here for it. Finances. Reputation didn't change. No new sponsorships. No notable deals. Overall sponsorships, everything dropped, unfortunately, quite a bit, actually. We definitely lost, we lost 12 and another 12. That's 24. And then another 3. It's 27. About 30 mil right there. 67. So we lost like almost 70 million euros worth of just overall just revenue. That is bad. Fadi, Baldwin, Illich, Delict, Verts. Yeah, I can see that. No, it's pretty good. 53 million euros of merchandise sales. That is incredible. Here is how we lined up. And it's interesting that it's actually showing our formation, but considering we only played it for maybe a third of the season. But yeah, not bad. Obviously, Fati up there. Accolades. I actually did get Manager of the Month twice for March and April. So we obviously were doing something right. But Player of the Season for the fans was Fati. Makes sense. Young Player of the Season was Pau. Okay. Goal of the season was Yusuf. Top goal scorer, of course, Fati with 37 goals. Assist was also Fati with 13 assists. Wow. He also had the most player of the match. Highest average rating. Why do you have to be 32 years old? I mean, we still got a couple more years in him, probably. But again, it's not that he's not going to play well, because he's obviously is. It's just the older they get, by my experience, the more impactful the injuries can be. And so we could lose him for a month, 2 months, or something like that. So we got to play him while we can, and then just accept the fact that we might lose him, And then most passes completed per 90 minutes was Kukulis. Record breakers. Fati getting most record. That was a record for that one. Where's this one? Okay, that's funny. Most league appearances by a player. 530 appearances. The guy's been around forever. And then our oldest player, of course, our almost 40-year-old goalkeeper, which is crazy. That is that. All right. Well, yeah, there we go. I mean, again, not much to say. Record high number of wins for Madrid there. This is our highest points total without winning a title. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anything else that we care about here? Overall attacking. I mean, looking pretty good. Just passing, which is almost always my weakness. Although I'm usually better at crossing in my formations that I usually set up. But passing one is just pretty standard far for the course for me, it feels like. Tackles one also, another one. These are the two that I just never have really that high. Everything else usually pretty high. Those two, for some reason, it is what it is. Goal output. I mean, we were above Barcelona even for quality shooting and defending, but it's, wasn't enough. We were down here in quiet defense. Oh no, we were actually over here in the quiet defense, leaky defense. So we were a little bit leaky. I'm going to put a little bit of that on the goalkeeper, but I can't put all the blame on him. And then goalkeeping. Well, here's goalkeeping. Well, apparently the goalkeeping was better than I was giving him credit for. So he was facing 8 shots per game, which, that's on our defense more than anything. And then he only conceded 1 per game. So that's the goalkeeper there, not conceding stuff. Visions and expectations. I'm 100% okay with these. We definitely want to be the most reputable team. We want to qualify for the Euro Cup. We want to reach the quarterfinal. Okay, fair enough. They actually don't want to win this season next year, just the year after that. I can accept that. I mean, I do want to win the season, but this is fine. I don't think there's anything to negotiate here. I'm perfectly happy with this vision. In fact, if anything, it feels a little bit easier than I would, than I'm going to challenge myself to be. Let's see here. No, I definitely think the title in our sights. No, everybody else is satisfied. Just Ivan. Pfft. Okay. Sorry that you're insulted, Ivan, but everybody else is fine with this. We'll just say later stages. People seem to be okay with that. And then I'm not going to do promises right now. I don't know what's going on with Ivan, buddy. What is your problem? You're only 22 years old. You're not even a good player, honestly, compared to everybody else. Everybody else is fine. Everybody else is on board. What is your problem? Honestly, you might need to leave. If you got that type of attitude about us winning the league next year, you might have your way out the door. I might be able to get him some money for him, I should say. Anything else here we want to look at? Sarah. I mean, he's got some potential. Love to see this guy continue to get better. 16 years old and, star and a half. That's not terrible. League Player of the Year was Madrid's Vigouroux. Fati was second. Illich was third. So we had 2 players up there. Top goal scorer, of course, Fati. That makes sense. Congratulations, my friend. Can you go back in time and become 22 years old? Top goal scorer for the first division was also Fati. We had second place here for goalkeeper. Wow. I mean, I'm ragging our goalkeeper a little bit. I'm not ragging on his performance. I'm ragging on his age. That's all. And if he, I have no problem him sticking around as a backup next year. We got to have someone who's just younger and better, start. This is the team of the season. Fati, of course, Delict, Castro. Fair enough. We had some good guys there. All right. Well, that's going to be it for now. We will come back when there's more news to be had relating to our transfers. I got my work cut out, like I said, but we'll see if I can find, I got to get a goalkeeper, guys. Got to get a goalkeeper. We shall see. All right, we are back, and it took me about 2.5 hours to get all this done. So a lot went into it. I'm mostly happy with the team we have. I do think the team's better than last year. There are a couple very, very key players that were significant improvements, I would say. And then there's a couple spots that I didn't really improve as much as I wanted to or at all, So we'll definitely get into that a bit more. Yeah, so let's start with this. Let me turn off the camera just so you can see the guys on the right-hand side. We'll start with the guys on the right real quick. anybody, the only person of note over here that we sold was Wirtz here. He went to Hertha Berlin for 26 million. He wanted to leave, and he was going to be kind of a backup option for us anyway. So seemed like an okay option just to get some money for him, especially for a player that wants to leave. You know, I'm not gonna stand up with people that want to leave, because if they get upset, then our whole team could potentially get upset, and that's always bad. So on the left-hand side, though, you guys already saw the Stevanovic, Ferreira, and Fenelahe transfers. Fenelahe is actually out on loan back at RC Lens for right now. He can come back if we need him. He has potential. He's just a guy for the future. I mean, a guy that could potentially turn into something. We'll see. We then brought in Ferran Carrasco here from Borussia Dortmund for 41.5 up front. It could go as high as 55. He comes in here as a decently good midfielder. In fact, I think he's going to be one of our starters, or at least first top 3 starters, something like that. We'll look at that here in just a moment. But he comes in here as a midfielder. He can also play as attacking midfielder pretty decently. And felt like he might be in a decent, okay player. He actually had a really good season last year. Did we already talk about him? We might have already talked about him. But anyway, he's been at Barcelona before, but his season last year kind of is what sold me on maybe trying to give him a chance. We'll see. So after that, we get into this season. So guys, that was technically some of last season's stuff. Then we get into this season. And this season there's some crazy stuff going on. Let me see if I can turn my camera back on, because I just prefer to be on here, and I can. Again, we'll start on the right-hand side. There's some big ones on the left-hand side. So I always go crazy with at least one player. There's always at least one player that I go pretty crazy on. But anyway, on the right-hand side, we sold this guy, Emmanuel Garcia here. He was playing pretty good for us for the most part as a center back. We sold him for 5 mil. He wanted to leave, whatever. The big one probably that I'm kind of back and forth on is Pau here. Pau looked like he had some good potential for us. He actually, how did he play last year for us? I mean, 7.4 on 22 appearances, 12 goals. I mean, the guy was a really good player. He really was. But again, he wanted to leave. My only negative here is that he went to Madrid, and I tried getting him to go to a couple other teams outside the league, but that's where he wanted to go. And, again, it kind of goes back to it's really hard to stand in people's ways if they really want to leave, because if they get upset, that can really hurt a team more than what losing their performance will hurt the team. And the replacements we got for him definitely outweigh him. Let's put it that way. Dest left as well to Monaco. Got a little bit of money for a guy that was, 30-something years old, 34 years old. So, yay. This guy, Mora, went out. He's only 18 years old. I don't know if he's ever going to develop anything. We got a little bit of money for him. So, and then a bunch of loans went out. So that's how that side went. Obviously, overwhelmingly heavy on the left-hand side here, as you can tell. So, guys that came in. First, we brought Flenio in here. Iñaki Flenio. He comes in here as a goalkeeping option. 1.5 stars current ability. Could go as high as 3 stars. 23 years old. He's got a lot of future ahead of him. Could be a strong, solid player for us. We'll see. I mean, he is Spanish, which is one of the reasons why I was also okay with bringing him in. I like to bring Spanish players in. I feel like that's a good move. But he was going to be our starting goalkeeper until another guy. In fact, we'll go ahead and get to him, because you could already see him. And if you know anything about real life players, I'm assuming you know who this guy is, because he's a real life person. We brought Donnarumma in here from PSG. 25 mil up front, could go as high as 30 mil. Paid a lot of money for him, but he's a ridiculously good goalkeeper. Yeah, he's 36 years old. As we already know, goalkeepers can last a decent amount of time. We had our last goalkeeper until he was 39 years old. This guy at 36 years old, still a 4-star player. So even if we only got a year out of him, it's a lot of money to pay for 1 year. I'm not going to lie. But it's a guy that has an extremely large amount of potential to be. He is the best goalkeeper in the league right now. I need him for at least probably 2 years, so we probably will look to renew his contract, because the most we could do is 1 year based on our rules of our board. But I would be happy if we got 2 years out of him. It's a lot of money for 2 years, but there is no way I could have gotten a better goalkeeper for anywhere close to that price. And if you think about it, if we get 2 years out of this guy at 4-star ability, that's 15 mil per year maybe for what we'd paid for the transfer. Whereas if we'd gone out and gotten, Conde or any of those other guys, we would have paid 200 million for him, and we might have gotten, 5 years out of him or something like that. And so that's definitely a much. I think this guy's a bargain if we can get a couple years out. Even if we just got 1 year out of him, honestly, he's probably still a pretty good bargain. So there's that guy. He's obviously our now starting goalkeeper, and he came in late. I was trying to get others that were cheaper or were younger, things like that. And eventually, even though I'm still pretty happy with Flano, I think he will be a decent option going forward, or at least a good backup option. Obviously, Donnarumma is just too good. We then brought in Oliveras here from RB Leipzig. He comes in here as a 3-star, could be as high as 4.5 star, but at least probably 3.5. Good, solid central defender, can play defensive midfielder, can play on the left, can play on the right. Technically, could be trained as a midfielder probably. He comes in here just as a 19-year-old player that will hopefully fill those spots for De Ligt and Kumbula. The thing for him is that really good physicals on this guy. Really good mentals on this guy. He's actually our second best teamwork and leadership combo player. So he's definitely destined to be a captain or vice captain at some point in the future. But I didn't want to do that at 19 years old, just coming in here. Excellent mentals, excellent physicals. His technicals are obviously not great and leave a lot to be desired. He's only 19 years old. I'm really hoping we can work on his technicals and get those up. If we can, this guy could be outstanding. If we can't, excuse me, here come the odds. If we can't get those technicals, then it really almost doesn't matter how good his mentals and physicals are. If he's technically not good at his role, then it's not going to help us, right? Technicals are extremely important, but we've got a good foundation. I think the mental and physical gives you the foundation. We've got to get those technicals up over the next couple of years, and I think this guy could be a top player for sure. And we paid a good amount of money for him. I think he could be worth significantly more than that if his technicals come up. This guy's worth 100 million plus. If they don't, he's worth 10 million. I mean, so a bit of a gamble, but I think it's a good gamble. We then brought in a pair of Garcias, as you can see. I don't think they're related. Salvador Garcia comes in here from Borussia Dortmund. He comes in as a strong midfield player as well. 28 years old, 3.5 star, just already had his potential, ready to rock and roll. No real concerns here whatsoever. Honestly, he's just a good player. 7.04 for Borussia Dortmund last year. Flirting around the 7s for the last several years. He's played in Spain, obviously. Another reason why I was okay with bringing him in here. I like getting the Spanish players where I can because I think that helps us out. But yeah, seems like a good, solid player. Did we overpay for him a little bit? Probably, if I had to be perfectly honest. I probably did overpay for him, but if he turns out to be a good player, then I didn't. That's the thing. Did I overpay for a player that I'm not sure about? I think so, yes. Did I overpay for a player that could turn into something great? Maybe not, so we'll see. Garcia down here, Emmanuel Garcia. He was just another potential long-term, maybe someday, if he became a 2.5, 3-star player goalkeeper, then maybe he's a good player to keep around. Not really worried about him. We paid a couple mil for him. No big deal. We didn't really play hardly anything for him. He's going to play for under 19 squad, I think, or Barcelona B, and whatever. He was worth a gamble. Why not? Truth be told, I didn't have a second goalkeeper at this point in time, so I was like, at least he'd at least be better than nothing as a backup. So we then brought in a very controversial player from Manchester United, a loan player. Here's what I do typically. When I get close to the end of a transfer window, what I tend to do, and maybe this is bad advice or bad moves, but what I tend to do is I go and see who is the absolute best person I can get on loan. Just go grab the absolute best player I can find. Basically, you're paying nothing for them. I'm paying 1.9 mil for a player that maybe he's good, maybe he's not. Who cares if he isn't? Not a big deal. Technically, we have an optional future fee for this guy, so if you actually turn into something good, this guy is going to be a ridiculously good player someday. I will tell you that. Let's get into him. He is going to be a 4-star striker someday, or midfielder, which is awesome. Honestly, very flexible in that regard. I like that. He is very likely going to be a insanely good player someday. Will he be a good player for us this year? Probably not. Will we play him as much as we're supposed to for the loan? Probably not. So we'll probably take him back, if I had to be perfectly honest. But he's a 2-star player. I mean, he can play as an emergency backup. You never know. We do have some older players, and this guy could play as an emergency backup. We'll see. I think he'll get some game time. I don't think he'll get as much as a regular starter game time, but whatever. And he will absolutely be a good player someday. Just whether or not he's going to be a good player this year. Then we get Lamptey. Lamptey we've seen before. He can't. We've had him on our Newcastle team, right? Not a lot of money for him. 8.5 mil up front, could go as twice, 12.75. 34 years old. Yeah, do I want to stay away from the old players? Absolutely, I want to stay away from the old players. But sometimes the old players can get you through a season or two while you're trying to build up the rest of the team. So he comes in here. I felt like he was a good, solid, known quantity. I'm not too worried about it if you don't get a lot out of him. He didn't cost a lot of money. And he definitely can come in here. Honestly, he can come in here as a starter right away. Or an impact sub, whichever we end up doing. So that is that. And then we get to the big one. The big one. And you guys know this guy because you guys have seen this guy. In fact, he is him and Fati obviously play very well together because we have them on the Spanish national team. Isidro Rapun coming in from Everton. I paid stupid money for this guy because every once in a while in games like this, I get my mindset on a player and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pay for this player no matter what it costs me. And this is kind of what I did. Obviously, one of the best strikers in the world right now. He can also play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play as attacking midfielder. Whatever we decide to do. For us, he's probably going to play as a striker. We know he's a good player. We've seen him play good. Absolute known quantity. No worries whatsoever. And we also know he can play alongside Fati, which is really good. But, 7+ player for a very long time. And again, someone that we have had on our Spanish squad for quite some time. It's funny how they paid 78. We only paid 83 for him, going up to 147 mil. Okay, so here's the thing with the 147 mil. Can we actually see that? Because this actually might be... I don't know where to see that. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Is it under transfer status, is it? No. Is it under contract info? No. I'm sure it's in here somewhere, and you guys probably can yell at me. Oh, I think it's in the finances somewhere. Anyway, or which one? Finances? No. I think it's in here somewhere, isn't it? Clauses. Yeah. Clauses. Okay. So the Rapun clauses are, if we can find them. Did I pass them? I probably did. There they are. 8 clauses. We'll pay after 50 league appearances. That's pretty normal. I usually put that on there just to save us a little bit of money. If we play them, then it's probably worth it. If we don't, then we don't have to pay it. No big deal. 18 mil after 20 international appearances. Now, here's the funny thing. I could just not play him on the Spanish national team. We never have to pay that. Obviously, that's dumb. I'll pay him, play him. No big deal. A little bit of money for appearances, so whatever. Goals money. If he gets 30 league goals, that's a lot of money to pay for 30 league goals. If he gets it, we get it, and we pay some money. There's a sell-on clause there. And then if we win the first division, then we'll pay some money out for that. And, of course, there's some monthly installments as well. I mean, we are paying out the wazoo for this guy, whatever a wazoo is. We are paying a lot of money for this guy. Is he worth it? He's an extremely good player. I think in a vacuum, he might be worth it. Is he worth it to us based on where our financial situation is? Maybe not. But I think in a vacuum, he's worth it. And he's definitely going to be, he's going to be the Fati replacement for sure. Fati can't last forever. This guy's going to last us for the next 10 years, maybe. Who knows? 8 years, probably at least. So I think he's going to be a good long-term player if we keep him around. And I think once you get a couple of years down the road and you look back and you're like, well, now we're just paying him contract money. I think at that point he becomes worth it, So that's my thoughts there. Let me know what you think in the comments below about Rapun. Or the rest of the players that we have, did I make some stupid mistakes? Do you agree with them? How are you? When you do your transfers, do you occasionally go a little crazy for that one player that you just really, really want? Or is that just me? But what else was I going to show you real quick? There was something else. I don't remember. Anyway, I'll come back. Oh, no, I know what I was going to show you. Projection right now, even with all that included, all the crazy money that we've got on Playpool, all the yearly kind of money, stuff like that, our projection right now is still positive, which to me is a good thing. If we keep our projections positive for, the 3 year, down the road, then I think we're in a good place overall, and we didn't go super, super crazy. So we did go crazy. Don't get me wrong, but this is looking a little bit better than I thought it would. Here is the squad. We're going to come over to the squad depth. Garcia is our best person. Now, again, same thing I always say every year when I do this. A lot of these players can play in multiple positions. I just trimmed it back down to do I at least have 2 players in each position? And that's kind of what it is. And this is not even necessarily where these players are going to play. I don't know. Baldwin might be our striker. Carrasco might be our attacking midfielder, but whatever. This is at least telling me we at least have 2 players capable of playing in each position. So that's my little asterisk to all of this. But here we go. Obviously, Fadi, Rapoon, probably our starting front line. But we have a couple guys behind him that are really, really good. Baldwin maybe is a good attacking midfielder option here. We'll see. We got Carrasco and Garcia, good 2 strong 3-star players. They can play in the midfield. But again, these guys can rotate quite a bit. Even Illich can move up here as well. Illich and Kukulis as a defensive midfielder. Again, Kukulis, obviously, we know is a good midfielder or defensive midfielder as well. So Illich might move up. We might, again, merry-go-round these players all day long. But effectively, this is kind of what it would look like. Castro on the right, Tasley on the left. Lamptey actually might play on the left as well. We'll see. Some flexibility there. Delict and Kumbula most likely are 2 starting central defenders, but Olivares hopefully will come up behind him very quickly. Brunic, we've seen him. We played him last season a little bit. He's got some potential. We'll give him some time where we can. And, of course, our goalkeepers. We've got Donnarumma, and Flanyo here. Flanyo's not going to get as much time as we had originally planned on giving him, but otherwise, I'm pretty happy with this as well. So I'm pretty happy. At least a 3-star player in every single position. That feels pretty good. Now, when they actually play the position that we've given them, like the actual functionality, that might change. But here would be the team that we would bring for the first game. Mostly what you just saw. The one exception, I think, is that Olivares is coming in here because Kumbula is not fully fit right now. And then, of course, we are going to go ahead and play Lamptey on the left-hand side here. He's a known quantity. We know he's a good player. If need to, though, we can always bring Tasley back, but this is what we're looking at. So Fadi, Rapoon, Baldwin, Garcia, Carrasco, Illich. Again, we can rotate these guys as needed. Lamptey, Olivares, Delict, Castro, and then, of course, Donnarumma. That's a pretty solid team. Definitely, in my opinion, a significant step up from last year's team. In fact, if we go look at the season preview, we are slated to be the number 1 team right now, with really pretty good odds, in my opinion. So, can we follow through on the season preview? I sure hope so, because we paid a lot of money. But we do have the best goalkeeper. We've got the best right back. We've got Fati in here, who's counting it here as the best, left winger. But we obviously know he's probably going to play a striker. And, of course, Rapoon. So we've got 4 of the best 11. The other ones are, let's see, there's Valencia has 1. Real Madrid has a couple. And then, of course, Atletico Madrid has 4 as well. So we have the same number as Atletico Madrid. In my opinion, we have the 2 bookends. We have an extremely good goalkeeper and extremely good goal scorer in Rapoon. I'll also throw a Fati in there as well. So if we're going to have 2 of the best goal scorers in the league and 2 of basically the best goal stopper in the league, then that bodes well for us having a pretty good season, assuming everybody stays healthy. And I think that's a big, giant asterisk, because if we come back over here to our players, wow, I can't believe we really have that many players. We come back over here to our players and look at this. We still have a decent number of players that are, these are guys who are starting. These are the ones that are starting right here that are already listed. 5 of them are over 30 years old. So, and then a couple of them are approaching. So we've got some still pretty old players. In fact, if we look at comparison, well, that's good news. Our average age is below the league average. So we did do some good moves there, hopefully. We apparently have the highest average height, and we have the highest average weight. Could be good. I've heard tall players in foot soccer ball is a good thing. We're not at the absolute highest on some of these other ones, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about this, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And give me a thumbs up on the video if you agree and think this is a good transfer, and we'll go from there. But without further ado, next episode, you guys will be our first 2 games of the season. We'll against Getafe, whatever, and Mallorca here. Should be 2 good tune-up games, hopefully. Although the Valencia, Atletico Madrid, or Real, I don't know. We'll see about this. But yeah, we're probably going to be starting with these. I'm going to be showing a lot of first division games. Last season was obviously pretty short, so we're going to probably show a lot of first division games this season. And then, of course, we'll show the cup games as well, because both of those are things that we're chasing. But I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you, and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.